Hi and welcome. In this video, I'm going to show you how I paint a realistic bird in acrylic paints. I'm painting on a loose bit of canvas that I've already got my sketch done onto, and if you're part of my Patreon, you will have access to the full video of this painting, as well as the traceables and the reference photos that I'll be using in the video. I'm using my very special Studio Wildlife brush set for this painting, which you will be able to get in May 2024. They haven't been released at the time of making this video, but if you're watching this after then, I'll leave a link in the description so that you can purchase the brushes. For this piece, I'm trying something a little bit different, using a sponge to create the background. I want a nice smooth texture, and I thought a sponge would be something that I could do this with. Usually I do this with an airbrush, but I realise not many people have access to an airbrush, so I thought I'd do it with a common household item. The technique for this process is really simple. It is literally just dab the paint onto the canvas, then let it dry, then dab the paint onto the canvas on top of that paint, then let it dry, then dab, then dry, then dab, then dry. It is literally just repeat the same thing over and over and over again until you've got a solid blended background colour. The more layers you do, the smoother you can get those colour transitions. I don't have time to get this super smooth, so now I'm going to move on to painting the bird. So for this, I'm going to need a new colour palette. And again, the exact colours that I'm using are available on the full length video over on Patreon. I'm painting a bluebird, so I'm going to start with some blue paint, and my process for painting birds begins with a simple blocking of the basic colours that I can see in the bird. So in this case, we've got blues, we've got some oranges, and some grey-y white kind of colours. Then in the beak and the eyes and then some of the feathers, we've also got a deep bluey black kind of colour as well. I'm using just a little bit of water to thin down my paints to make them slightly transparent. I'm not too worried about getting opaque layers in this initial stage. Just like with the background, I'm going to build up lots of layers of transparent paint to create an opaque finish. Those layers are all going to build up and work together to create lots of subtle transitions, lots of blending, and hopefully a more realistic looking painting. I think a lot of people fall out with acrylics because they try to use them like they would oil paints, when they are a completely different medium. Acrylic paint layers dry so fast, so it's important that we use that to our advantage. With oil paints, you can directly blend wet paint into each other to create those transitions. With acrylics, that's so much harder. For me, blending and building up these transitions with these thin washes of colours is by far the best way to use acrylics. Next, I'm starting to build up more of the details using a smaller detail brush, and for this stage I'm being a little bit more controlled and a little bit more precise with my brushwork, especially around the eye and the beak. My biggest tip when painting birds or painting feathers is that I'm not actually painting feathers. I'm just trying to paint the impression of those feathers. And I do that in almost a, not quite cross-hatching, but in a line motion. So unlike fur, where I like to vary up the strands or the direction of each of those strands, with feathers, I like to put these short lines, like 6 or 7 lines, very close together, randomly around the bird. I do this with some darker colours and some lighter colours. Not only does this help to add texture and details, but it also helps me bring that like fluffiness to the feathers. It helps me build form and like the effect that these feathers are all sat on top of each other without having to actually copy my reference photo exactly. I think being able to move away from your reference photo is a really important skill to have as an artist. It means you're not just copying your reference, you're adding to it with your experiences and with your ability. You're making something unique rather than just making a copy of something that already exists. And it's all these interesting marks, these accidents, that all come together, in my opinion, to make a significantly more interesting image than just an exact copy of a reference photo. And speaking from personal experience, if you can let go of that reliance on a reference photo, not only do you feel more free, but the speed at which you complete these paintings also increases. My advice is think about the message or what you're trying to convey in each area of the painting and try to do it in the fewest brushstrokes possible. We don't need to paint every pixel. Before I can finish off the bird, I need to get that log in, or the branch that the bird is sitting on. And if you've watched my last video, you will know how much I hate painting branches and trees and rocks. It's something that I am not as well practiced in as painting feathers and fur. That being said, painting them on a smaller scale like this is much, much easier than doing huge canvases. So let's get started. Again, just like with the background and just like with the bird, washes are your best friend. Keep it slow, keep it simple, and just build up layers of transparent paint on top of each other to make that branch look opaque. The thing with branches and rocks and other environmental features like this is there's lots of subtle variation in the darks, in the highlights and the midtones. So building up transparent layers helps you to establish all of that subtle variation really easily. Almost accidentally, it just sort of builds up itself without you really even having to try. I find my biggest issue when I paint trees and rocks and things like that is that I try to create them too opaque straight away. I end up putting in a few darks, a few lights, a few midtones, and it all just looks a little bit blocky and cartoony. And I figured out that just using more layers of lots of transparent paint, just built on top of each other, is much more effective at creating realistic looking textures. It's as simple as laying in a few different browns, a few different greens, some blacks for some smaller details, a little bit of light in the form of some white or some more saturated colour, a couple of little glazes for some shadows to add a little bit of form to the branch, and that's pretty much it. Now, if you're a beginner, that might sound complicated, but trust me, the actual brushwork involved is relatively simple. And I explain it in more detail in the full version of this video, which is available for my patrons. So, if you're trying to learn how to paint and draw wildlife and you're not already a Studio Wildlife patron, go and sign up. I've got so many tutorials in all kinds of techniques that are aimed to help you develop your wildlife art and also showcase some of the paintings and some of the techniques that I've picked up along the way. Even if you don't join up, I hope you have found this video helpful at least a little bit with your own work, and as always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.